Hey everyone, hope you're having a good week so far. So I wanted to talk a bit about proofing. Now, proofing is something a lot of people and trainers as well potentially don't think of. Proofing relates to making sure your dog can offer the behaviour in lots of different environments. So to proof this behaviour, we obviously need to make sure that we're practicing the techniques in different environments and monitoring our dog's responsiveness to see what their distractions are. So obviously distractions can range from, I don't know, pigs in a farm, to different smells, to chasing something, other dogs, people. So we need to factor all of these things in with training. So when I think of proofing, I like to think of the 3Ds. So number 1D, if you like, is distance. How far away can my dog be from me for them still to respond to me? If we want our dogs to do an emergency stop, so an emergency stop and just look at us when anything else is happening, how am I going to go about getting that? So as always, starting in a less distracting environment to begin with, so the kitchen, then bringing it out to the garden if you have one, and then outside. But obviously using management is important, and keeping your dog on a long lead so they can't inadvertently go and reward themselves while you're able to practice getting them back. And then being able to come back to you so they can practice getting it right if it's recall that you're practicing. Obviously, if it's an emergency stop, then practicing their stop and wait and looking back at you again on a long line to begin with. So thinking about distance, gradually adding in those distances between you and your dog, starting off in the kitchen. You can be by the kettle, they can be by the door. So I've got Mr. Duck here, and then the door is far a bit further away, so practicing those short distances. The next D is duration. How long can your dog, the dog that you're training, practice hand targeting your hand for? Can they keep their nose there for long durations? If our dog is able to, keep their nose targeted to our hand for longer distances, when they're walking past something, it's going to make it a lot easier for them not to get distracted on things. So gradually adding in duration for your hand target. So ask them for a touch, feed, ask them for a touch, allow them to keep it there for 3 seconds and then feed afterwards, then gradually increase it. It's also quite good to teach touch, providing your dog isn't really in pain with being groomed, but if they've got something to do, it takes their mind off what's happening. So if you're brushing them and they're hand targeting you with their nose, it just gives them something else to focus on while they're being brushed. And then finally, last but not least, we've done distance, we've done duration, is difficulty for me. So thinking about what distractions there are in the environment. Is it too difficult to ask your dog to do this to begin with? Because if we're asking our dog to come back to us, and they adore other dogs, if we're asking them to come back from 6 or 7 dogs, that's going to be a lot harder for them to do compared to one dog, providing that they obviously enjoy the company of other dogs. So we're going to factor in making sure that they can come away from one dog to begin with, and then 2 dogs, and then 3 dogs, and then increase it gradually. Just like if you had a massive task to get through that you found really difficult, you'd add in those distractions gradually. You wouldn't just expect to do it all at once and, you know, get results that you wanted straight away. So, no, we're all humans here that love to see the outcome in our training. It can feel really reinforcing when our dog gets it. But it's really important that we're thinking about getting that magic moment in different areas as well, because otherwise we're going to fall short and the training won't be applicable to real life behaviours. So if you think of the rule of 7, if you like, or whatever number, I'd say at least 7 or above, think that you need to do this training in 7 different environments. So this training needs to be done on the beach, in Cornwall, with a nice Cornish ice cream. I had to twist it today, that was very nice, but it wasn't in Cornwall. And think about the park and practicing these techniques in the groomers, the vets, in a cafe, a dog-friendly cafe, and also other areas like friends' houses, families' houses, places that are busier, town centres, down your street, in busier parks where there's ponds with ducks, you know, but always setting your dog up to succeed. And I know you won't do that, but just to mention, not setting them up to fail by keeping them off lead in areas that are either dangerous or just too much for them to start off with. Because if we do that, then they get reinforced for it, i.e. they chase something and then they catch it. That's going to be a lot harder to get out of them because they've been highly reinforced for that behaviour. A bit like leaving your roast Sunday chicken on the side. Dog jumps up and eats the lot. They're going to start counter surfing and popping their paws on the table to look for more, not just every Sunday but every day, because that behaviour has been highly reinforced. I mean, why wouldn't they? If you jumping up at the table resulted in, I don't know, a trip to Barbados. I've never been to Barbados, but I imagine that's very nice. I'm going to repeat that behaviour again. You know, what gets rewarded gets repeated.